What is going on, FG3000? Back in the place to be, and welcome to Zoldout. So Zoldout is a brand new gridless strategy RPG grid-based hero collector that just came out recently. This game is available on mobile as well as Steam. Today's video, I'm going to be playing this bad boy on the Steam version. So let's start off with a few of the characters. Now, as far as the 2D art is concerned, it's quite solid across the board, including the 3D models as well. Now, I know some people might call this chibi, and I guess technically it is chibi, but as long as it's not down to the level of like Azure Lane level of chibiness, I'm totally fine, especially when it has this level of detail on the models, right? So very cool characters. A lot of them have additional costumes as well. We'll go through a few of them. As far as class types are concerned, it's warrior, archer, mage, and support, and pretty much every type of archetype you can think of is represented within, right? So here are a few of the characters. Let's go ahead and jump on into combat, shall we? Alright, so let us begin. Right now I am currently on chapter 4, so we'll go ahead and tackle this one. This game does have skip functionality, but it does unfortunately require skip tickets. Meh. You can bring 4 heroes to combat. Now the really interesting thing about these characters is the weapon system. Look at how many weapons each of my characters is equipping, and this is a big part of what makes this game quite special, and in my opinion is one of the best parts of the game. Okay, so just like most strategy RPGs, you can set up your formation here. So I'll set up my melee towards the front. My archers will be kind of off here to the side, right? So we'll go ahead and begin battle. There are 2 waves. We're going to be fighting these little mining chickens for some reason. Now this is my archer, and you can see randomly I get basically a deck of all of those weapons across all of my characters. So some points you might be at the victim of RNG if you're looking for a specific weapon type to start off, but for the most part I really hadn't had that much of an issue, right? So here's my bow attack. It costs 3 energy in order to cast. You can see right over here, this character has 12 energy total. So watch what I can do. I can spam these 3 arrow shots back to back to back, and I really love how streamlined the UI and the interface is. As far as moving your characters around, attacking, adjusting on the fly, the controls work quite nicely for this game. So right now we're using our warrior here. You can see once again I have 12 energy points to use. This sword attack costs 6, so kind of an overkill. I don't need that, so we'll go ahead and use one of these forecast swords here. My character will move up. Each character can move 1 time per turn, but there are certain types of weapons and things of that nature that can manipulate that as well. So you can see I walked up to this enemy. The only other enemies that are in range are over here, but I have no more moves, right? So even though I have 7 energy left, I'm gonna go ahead and have to end my turn to continue on. So here we have yet another archer type character, 12 points. I have 3 casting, bow attacks right over here, very good damage. I inflicted some burning on him as well, so that will work out. This character right here I really kind of enjoy, so check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and do this little leap attack, even though I don't really need to do it. I'll leap and I'll attack him. I just caused poison. Now this sword right here, if the target is poison, apply an additional poison effect on the target, right? So the enemy is poison, I do some more poison, I do another attack, he's almost dead. I'm gonna go ahead and end my turn. Some damage over time has impacted both of my enemies there, and we are doing pretty good. This is a massive overkill. This sword attack right here costs 6, and it's going to do over 1,000 damage, but you know what? We'll go ahead and do it. And once again, just the interface and how easy it is to kind of be like, all right, where exactly do I want to move my character when I do this attack? Where do I want my character to end up afterwards? Everything works really smoothly, right? So here is wave 2, and I'll show you some more interesting attacks here. We'll go ahead and smack you in the face since you're right in front of me. I did no damage, but that's okay. Now check out this bow attack right here. Now normally bow attacks are quite boring in most games, but check out what I can do. You see this guy way over here in the back line? I'm gonna cast an arrow shot with a scorpion chain and move him just a little closer to my enemies, which is really cool, right? There is a lot of diversity when it comes to weapons. You know, of course you have basic damage over time like burning, poison, you have pullback effects, knockbacks, all kinds of things here. Different ways to power yourself up, purge debuffs, heal. Like there's a lot of variety when it comes to these weapons. These weapons do come from a weapon gacha, but you can also get them as quest rewards, and you can also craft your own weapons. So let's say, for example, I really like this sword attack right here. Like I like this sword attack a ton. Well, I can craft more of that sword and put it in my deck. That way, you know, when I'm getting all these RNG FG cards, there's a higher chance of me getting some of my favorite sword attacks, some of my favorite effects more often, right? So here's a nice little ultimate. I'll show you what they look like. They're kind of boring so far. They're quite basic as far as the ultimates are concerned. But if you're one of those types of people that like to skip most of your ultimate animations, you're going to be just fine. So that is combat here in the world of Zoldout. Now, as far as the actual gameplay, of course you have a campaign mode that has multiple difficulties, easy, hard, as well as nightmare, so there is a ton of gameplay to be had here. There's also this little event tab. Currently, there is an event underway called Treasure of the Ruins and the Dangerous Adventure, and taking a look at some of the rewards here, I haven't been able to be, I'm not quite strong enough to really take part in this event just yet, but I should be soon. But it looks like you can get this character here, which was actually really solid, some awakening materials, promotion materials, things of that nature. So pretty much what you'd expect out of an event shop. Nice rewards all the way around, including a little in-game gacha as well, which will also give you even more experience points, promotion materials, etc, etc. So not a bad start. Pretty solid foundation of a game, great combat system, and there's already an event in the game as well. And of course you also have your daily resource grind. You can see right here, it does require keys. I've used all of my keys and I'll get 8 more keys in 10 hours. So just think experience points, gold, upgrade materials, things like that. And now one of the more important and interesting parts of the game, of course, is the weapon system. So you can see, here's my forge. I've been working on a bunch of weapons here, an ignition sword, a parrying dagger, a wand of expulsion, all kinds of good stuff. So I'll go ahead and collect these, and you can see these pieces of gear have different levels of rarity. So even if you have found like your favorite sword or your favorite wand, you are gonna still continue to craft those, trying to get the highest rarity possible. So I'll go back to work here. You can see all the things that I'm able to craft. So for example, I want to make another ignition sword, right? So here are the materials that I need to craft the said sword, and if I need some more of them, the game will tell me exactly where they drop. Once again, do keep in mind, skip functionality in this game is tied to tickets, and I don't have a lot of tickets, unfortunately, which it's kind of annoying. Like, if I have the stamina, just let me do the sweeping, baby. But as you can see, real simple. I'm a little short on iron ore. I need to go to stage 1-3. If I want to skip, I do have skip tickets, but for right now, I'll just go ahead and challenge the stage. You can also use support characters as well from your friends list. There is no penalty, which I do appreciate, right? So you can still get a perfect 3-star by using a support unit, and I highly recommend that, especially if you're just getting started. There are going to be some oh my god, this is the stage. There are going to be some stages that you can fully autoplay, right? So the game does have autoplay enabled, but it really depends on the setup of the stage. This stage right here, if you play it on manual, you will defeat it with not a sweat trickled at all. But sometimes the autoplay does a really poor job when it comes to choke points. And you can see there's only one real way to get to the back line, and these enemies can actually freeze you in place. So if you're not really dramatically overpowered, the autoplay isn't that great, and the autoplay doesn't really get out of telegraphs too often. Like, look at that. They just stood in a telegraph and got frozen. I got 2, look, they're frozen. So yes, the game does have autoplay, but your mileage may vary depending on the stage itself, right? So choke points, big telegraphs, freezing, things like that are really gonna kind of do a number on the autoplay. And look at this, my warrior walked back and forth. Like, it's super confused. So it would be nice if they just say, screw skip tickets, just let people skip, because stuff like this, like if you want to grind this stage, you can't really. Look at how bad my team is doing, even though I can easily defeat this stage on manual, because it's a super easy stage. You can see for the most part we one-shot, but that choke point just really messes up the AI for the autoplay, unfortunately. And oh man, are you gonna get froze lock? You're totally gonna get, oh my god, you're just gonna get locked in place. Come on, dude. Okay, he's up in his face. He might be able to pull this off. There you go, get behind him. Good job, AI. Look at that. They're mostly one-shot enemies, but it almost beat me. So please, developer, just drop skip tickets or set up a system. If you can't like remove them from the game, set up like a login system where every single day you log in, you get 50 sweep tickets. Like, just make it not even a thing that people need to care about. That's just a little advice from FG. No one listens to me, but that's okay. I like talking anyway. So now we have all the iron ore that we need, so we'll go ahead and make some more parrying daggers. Cost me 4 energy, and if I use this in combat, it's gonna reduce damage taken by 30% to the next turn, and also get 10 defense just by rocking it, right? So these weapons are so interesting, and they really kind of make the combat a lot more fun than it looks like. Like if you're just looking at screenshots, you're just looking at video, you don't really get the full effect of the combat system. This is a game that I highly recommend getting hands-on with. The characters also have exclusive weapons as well, so you'll recognize some of these weapons as the main weapons that those characters use on their actual combat model. So you can get these, and these weapons are going to bring even more effect types to combat, which is pretty cool. So beyond the campaign, you also have arena. Now this is a little different than the normal gacha game arena that we normally see. Normally you see like a list of opponents that you can tackle, and you'll probably go after whoever the weakest is, right? Here the game gives you an opponent, and it's up to you to attack them or give up. If you give up, you just lose, right? The game also has picks and bans as well, so you can see one of my characters is banned. So I'll go ahead and bring just someone else who I don't really have powered up, but we'll try our best to figure this out. So jump on in, let's go. Yeah. そこでじっとしてな。ふざけんな。合理的な自己防衛行動。なめんな。これでも食らえ。じゃあ。エラと遊んでたの。ここまで存在。殴られたなんて。あまり痛くはない。かしこまりました。抗えるのも今のうちだぞ。もっとパーツを。安心して。あまり痛くはないわ。驚いたの？なめんな。かしこまりました。歯を食いしばって一発くらえ。やりすぎよ。どうだ。薬じゃなかった。そこだ。Attack the Titan. And that is arena PvP. So pretty straightforward, right? Defeat the enemies, defeat the core, GG. Now I've seen plenty of games that have picks and bans, but I think this is like one of the rare times that the picks and bans are defense team and attack team specific, right? So you can bring this character on offense, but you can't bring them on defense. So quite interesting. And the other piece of air quote arena gameplay is basically a damage challenge, right? Beat up on this boss, do as much damage as you possibly can, get ranked, and get rewarded. You can also see in this gameplay mode, there are characters that have bonuses as well. So if you have these characters on your roster, you definitely want to bring them in order to get the highest score possible. So really that about does it for Zoldout. It's a pretty straightforward game. I do like the whole gridless combat system that's starting to become really popular. I'm playing the heck out of Midnight Sun, so I was like, quite at home playing a game like this with that whole gridless system. So hope to see even more of that. We'll go ahead and end the video off with a nice little summon session in an SSR, baby. We got Karen, who is a free login reward at day 7. So I guess I got a dupe. Shout out to Karen, the elf princess, SSR. Very nice. Let's see who else we have here. We have Cecilia, who I have multiple copies of, so you can see now she's a 4. That's a 4. Yeah, that's 4. had to remember my Roman numerals for. Oh, dude, do I have the drunken sitting waifu? No, that's not her. Is it her? No, it's not her. No, it's not her. No, it is her. The drunken diva. Dude, this is perfect. Not only does FG love a drunken waifu, one of my favorite places to get drinks here in Austin, Texas is a place called Gloria's. They got the strongest margaritas you ever done seen. The name of the margarita is called a Meltdown Margarita. It's a frozen mango margarita with a Grand Marnier floater. It's pretty good. I'm all sidetracked. All right, so we'll go ahead and go through the rest of our summons here. Got some pretty good ones. Another dupe of my girl Margaret as well. So she's gonna get a nice little awaken. Very cool. Oh, Aubrey looks awesome, by the way. Little blue-haired sword woman. Very cool. And a couple more dupes there that are also gonna get awakened. Timber Jack Byron. Very cool. And this is going to be one of those games, as you get duplicates, you'll build up currency, and you can turn around and use that currency to buy specific characters out of this shop. All right, so here's our new girl, Karen. Her 2D art, her 3D art, like look at the detail. So once again, I know, a lot of you guys feel some type of way about chibis, but what a nice little chibi model here. Good detail here. So taking a look at her skills, her ultimate ability is going to taunt enemies in a medium area until next turn, reduce damage taken by 30%, and then increase healing by 60%. Not too bad. Her passive, when she takes damage, she reduces the attacker's attack by 17% for 2 turns. Very, very nice. Her second passive, other elves in the team increase physical damage by 11. So if you want to kind of rock her out with like a full elf team, you can do that. And then her defense skill gives her some nice robust HP. Now, if I want to level up her raw levels, this is very straightforward. There is a universal EXP juice that I can use, and there's also warrior specific, right? So if you want to level up an archer, you're going to use archer juice or mage juice or support juice. Everything is juicy, apparently. So we'll go ahead, power her up to level 33, because I want to put our girl Karen on the team as soon as possible to replace the tank that we all get for free as soon as we start the game. Once you max out your level, you will need this type of currency here, this promotion medal, to break through to the next level. You can also get these via events. And using a different character as an example, so far I've picked up like 4 dupes of this character, and you can see her exclusive weapon shards here build up as you get duplicates. So using those fragments that I acquired via duplicates, I can then turn around, go inside my weapon forge, and then craft that exclusive weapon, which will make her healing increase by 30%. A pretty basic little effect there, but once again, do keep in mind this is a low rarity character. I am sure the higher level exclusive weapons are going to be even more diverse. So that about does it for today's video on Zoldout, but I do want to test out my girl Karen here. You can see all my little sword weapons here. There also is auto functionality, so if you don't want to go through and kind of manually set up all these different weapon types, you can. But eventually you'll get to a point where you have a few favorite weapons that you definitely want to, make sure that are in your deck, right? Side note, by the way, I saw some posts on Reddit talking about how this game shut down in Japan. As far as I know, that's true, but this game is not a Japanese game, it's a Chinese game. So as far as like the development is concerned, the game should be fine, but hey, I thought I'd mention. At the very end of the video, FG, psh, not my fault. If you didn't make it, you didn't make it. All right, chill. All right, so we'll go ahead, try to weaken up this little sword guy here. I want to do, all right, let's just go ahead and, I don't want to do this knockback effect. I need to take out this frozen sword because I don't have anyone on my team that can provide frozen at the moment. So this is kind of like a waste of a slot when I can be using something else. And this once again goes back to what I was just saying, auto setting up your weapons. It's fine in the beginning, but eventually you get to a point where you would be better served switching a few things out, like a freezing sword, which I really can't capitalize on because I can't apply freeze. Leap to my target is one of my favorite swords. Like this sword right here, this is like one of my favorites because it allows you to move and still get to your enemy with that extra little leapy right there, right? So very, very nice. I think if I'm gonna be using Karen, I need to kind of figure out some more elves, right? To get as many elves on my team as possible. But I really do love my archers. I need to destroy this treasure chest as well. So 2 shots to destroy this little treasure chest. It should be, okay, 3 shots. This character right here is very good as well because as she attacks you, she makes you more vulnerable, which is really good for fighting bosses. I'll go ahead and apply a little poison arrow. And then boom, 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 spam, spam, spam. And I like the fact that I don't have to wait for like an animation to finish or anything like that. I can just spam these attacks as fast as I can if I want to, right? Just as long as I have energy, I can just whip out the cards and go as fast as I possibly want to, which is a very, very nice. I don't really need to do knockback. Here's another example of having these knockback swords. I don't really like them all the time because what they do is they knock back. Like they'll knock this guy out of range, so now I can't do a follow-up attack until I move again, right? So not the greatest, but I'm sure in some situations it works out just fine. G to the G, and then we'll need to go ahead and just smack you. I'll move you again, a little knockback. Apply poison because Margaret is amazing. Well, you see what happened? I applied this knockback, and now I can't reach. So I just kind of wasted that little turn there, unfortunately. And all I did was just speed up this boss's journey to fight my back line. But you know what? A little burning arrow to the face. Couple more arrow shots. Are you poisoned still? Yeah, you got 1 more stack of poison, so I'll go ahead and use this sword here to capitalize on the fact that you have poison. Very, very nice. That's gonna be a GG. I was supposed to be doing my ultimate for Karen, but oh well. You can have it on day 7. All right, I am out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.